And now we are posting, making announcements. Okay, closing that and that. Well, welcome back to When They Cry, or Higurashi When They Cry. And we're about to continue. I believe we're still at the festival, and Rika was about to perform. Let's load up. Let's keep this story going. Also, I need my blankie because it is freezing as opposed to last time. I am actually freezing cold. Oh, the audio. Oh, I gotta fix that. You gotta hear this pumpy music. Do 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 do. There we go. There was already a huge group of people gathered at the altar in front of the shrine. The fire at the altar made it so bright as midday and just as hot. There was a pile of futons warded with sanctified rope in front of the altar. Come to think of it, they did say it was a festival where they did something with the cotton and futons. Kichan-san, Rina-san, we're over here. Sakura waved her hands from the front row. Ah, sorry. Making our way through the mass of people, we reached the spot they'd saved. Get out of my way. How was it? Were you able to have a little bit of excitement with Rina? You punk! So that's what your plan was. Instead of replying, Yun gave us a perverse grin. How was it, Rina? Oh, dang it. Why is that a button? How was it, Rina? Was Kichan's hand bigger than you thought it would be? Just fucking beast slaps. Rina turned bright red, puffs of steam shooting out of her head. I heard something slice through the air and turned around to see Mune on the ground with a welt on her face. Yeah, violence. Man, when were you hit? Between the ha and o of her yo, I think. Rina, it's not good to punch your friends to hide your embarrassment. I didn't hit her. Whatever. Then she just decks someone else. Thump! The thunderous beat of the drum echoed silently in the crowd. You must all be quiet. It's beginning. Goblin. It was a solemn ritual. Rika-chan entered dressed as a shrine maiden, followed by members of the municipal committee. The elders all looked at Rika-chan and clasped their hands in praise. The only thing allowed to disturb the profound silence was the flash from Tomoko-san's camera, and his rippling muscles oiled, glistening in the firelight. What's the big thing Rika-chan is holding? Aho! That's used for this festival. It's a sacred farming tool that only the shrine maiden may touch. It has the power of 10,000 souls trapped in it and one dam worker. Not uncommon for something used in rituals. After reciting a Shinto prayer, Rika-chan approached the pile of futons gathered at the altar. She swung the hoe, skillfully plunging it into the futons. Each and every little movement of this performance probably had to be done in a certain... Oh, this just jogged my memory of one of the scenes from the anime. I haven't seen it in so long. A certain way, without a doubt, this was a ritual. What's next? Airing out futons? She's purifying futons that absorb illness from people over the winter. So when Kishan said airing out futons, he wasn't completely wrong. Yuka-chan's face was already dripping with sweat. That hoe was probably really heavy. She staggered side to side with the momentum of each swing. Satoko looked on silently, leading her support. Worried? Rika practiced every single day with Mochi's hammer. The Mochi hammer. She will certainly prevail. Satsuko's hands were sweaty, and whenever Rika-chan started to sway a little, she held her breath. Why wasn't Miron a candidate to be the shrine maiden? It feels wrong having a Rika-chan swing around something so heavy. I'd do it if they asked me, you know. And well, it's not something just anyone could do. That's true. Shrine maidens need to be pure after all. Ooh! Miron drove her elbow into my side. A fist fight's gonna start in this festival. With the thud of the big drum, Rika-chan gave a solemn bow and descended from the altar. That triggered a round of generous applause. Woo! After the Shinto priest had raised up the cleansing futon like a portable altar, all the spectators stood up. Following after the priests, we all marched on at a modest pace. They descended the shrine giant stairs in a line. What's happening now? Washing the futons in the river? Watangashi means setting cotton adrift, you know. Watangashi. Set it free. Return to nature, cotton. The processing continued right up into the bank of the stream. A fire was stoked high, and it was bright as day here, too. People started crowding around it and clamoring. Alright, get in line. Line up, Kichan. I wonder what was up. Maybe we'd get some holy wine, red and white bean buns. It's not food, you silly dolt. I said it was cotton, and not the candy type. But of course, they didn't call it the Watangashi for nothing. I fully understood. The municipal community members pulled out the cotton from inside the futons and balled it up like a mochi, handing it out to people. Rina dove into the line and brought out some for me as well. We then proceeded to bank of the stream of the river. Since it's your first time, Kichan, just copy what I do. She held the cotton in her right hand and waving her hand as if to purify it, she touched it to her forehead, chest, navel, and both thighs. You do this 3 times and silently give thanks to Oshiro-sama. Oshiro-sama? What's that? The name of the shrine's god? Yes, it's the guardian deity of Hinamaizawa. It brings about both miracle and curses. Specifically just the curses, though. So you must be sure to show respect, or else. That sounded like a pretty frightening god, but well, when in Rome, appease the weird god. Don't anger it. I was officially a resident of Hinozana now, after all. Doing as Rina showed me, I touched the cotton over myself 3 times. Boop, 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 navel, bum. Done. Oshiro-sama. This way, all the evil that possesses you is sucked out of the cotton. Then you let it gently drift away on the stream, and you're done. Together, Rina and I set our pieces of cotton afloat. Mine burst into flames for some reason. Don't know why. The water surface, the flowers of the cotton blooming, the water had sucked out all the evil festering in Hirozama and drifted off, disappearing into the distance. It was wonderful, like those floating lantern festivals I'd seen on TV. The best part, though, was the feeling like this rite of passage had made me a true resident of Hirozama. One of us! One of us! While staring off into the stream, I somehow got separated from Rina. I wasn't even lonely, though. I know this place now. This is where I live, my home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering around aimlessly. Someone would surely find me while I was enjoying the evening breeze. I heard a familiar voice. It was Tomoko-San. Oh dear, be still, my beating heart. I headed towards it. Oh, there's those muscles. How did it go, Tomoko-san? Were you able to get some good shots of me? Yeah, fortunately. Tomoko-san was with a girl. Who is this other woman? Tomoko-san with a girl. I felt like a little intruding. Who is she? This... You are my enemy now. You are my competition. How was it, Kichan? Did you enjoy the festival? From the way she spoke, it seemed like she was being of pure evil. Definitely didn't do the cotton ball thing. Resident of Hirozama. I really should try harder to remember people's faces here. What was her name? Bit? Well, it was fun. My face must have given away how desperately I was trying to remember her name because she gave a light-hearted chuckle. It's probably just because it wasn't been long since you moved here. It's pretty hard to believe seeing how friendly you've gotten with the other kids. If that's how it looked, it was probably all thanks to Rina Mune. Oh, you flatter me, Tomodachi. Perhaps you feel more like a resident of Hirozama after taking part in the festival today. I wondered about that. Oh, that's not like you. I had tried to get used to Hirozama, but there were still plenty of things I don't know. The faces of the people I'd meet, for example. things that had happened in the past as well. Oh, you're feeling left out because of something like that? It's not as much as feeling left out. It's just, I'm not sure how to say it. That incident at the dam construction site, the fighting over it, and other conflicts, that terrible incident, they pretended they didn't even know what was even about. Brought it up. Even though it was in the past, as someone living in Hiroshima, it wasn't wrong to want to know about both the good and bad that had happened here. If we will put you at ease, then I'll tell you everything I know. I am the murderer. Oh, Tomoko-san smiled, made me more relieved than ever. Believe me, Tomoko-san. I'd ever been. It was hard to think of what to ask when someone said, "Ask me anything, though." Even when there was so much I wanted to ask. And could you tell me about what happened with the dam being constructed? There was a big incident where Hiroshima was going to be submerged, right? The dam! No. I think the locals would be more knowledgeable about the dam than I am. Well, if you don't mind, I'll tell you what I know. It's only what I read in the newspaper, though. Tomoko-san's eyes entered an unfocused gaze as he searched through his memories. Then he spoke with his voice of angels. The decision to start the dam project was finalized 7 or 8 years ago. I heard it's the next major project from the Kurobe. There were 3 major issues in Japan at the time: improving inter-island transportation infrastructure, meeting the higher demands of electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economy stimulus they provided on top of the generating electricity and flood control. Inazuma had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out. That's a nice dam. The dam reservoir would have covered quite a lot of ground when it was complete. The entire area right up to Yagoichi, way upstream, would be underwater. Why did they have to pick a populated area like Iwazama? Couldn't they have just instead picked a place where nobody lived? I'm not really sure why those dumb governing hillbilly But I heard that it was just the right terrain for building a dam. Of course, there were protests here in Hiroshima. Rika-chan had said there was a battle. From the choice of words, I had to guess things had turned violent. There was a trial, and then there was even brought up before the national diet. It was covered in the Tokyo newspapers, too. Miran had told me all about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hiroshima had united to fight together. A feeling of solidarity found here which could not be expressed properly with mere words was likely brought about by that battle. As a result, bribery and scandals were brought up to light. As things got more and more complicated, they eventually halted construction. If I wanted to know now was the only chance to ask. It was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. I felt a little ashamed from the fact I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Rina and Mion's refusal to talk about the event. But I figured I might as well ask, since I had the chance, just so I would stop thinking about it so much. So there was a dismemberment, right? There was! It was quite cool to photograph. Take pictures of. I was right there. All the blood and organs. Pretty cool. Reminds me of Iraq. I had happened to be here in Hiroshima at the time. Oh, yes, so I remember it well. Oh, yeah, it's pretty fun swinging around that axe into people. You know how squishy the human body can get? It's like freaking tearing apart roast beef on Grandma's Thanksgiving Day. Answering was nonchalant in contrast to my hasty forced question. It was about this time, 4 years ago, at this very spot, with this very camera, with these very abs and muscle I have done it. The day of Watangshi, if I recall correctly. Debate on whether to continue construction on the dam was in disarray. Scandals after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident, though, was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. That dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in a victim being murdered. Fearing prosecution, the 6 assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces, each tied one. 5 of the 6 criminals turned themselves in out of the guilt, but 1 was still on the run. The right arm he'd hidden had yet to be found. The major detail lined up with what was in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident, but it wasn't so terrible that Rinamune needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who just moved here to have a negative impression of Hirozama. Hinamani's ear. I felt grateful for having friends who worried so much about me. Oh, as well as shame for still being so interested in it. It was near the end of all the trouble with the dam, you see. So everyone was saying it was Oshiro-sama's curse. Oshiro-sama's curse, huh? Oh, that's my voice. Oshiro-sama's curse, huh? Oshiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held the festival today, if I recall correctly. I see. The guardian deity rained divine punishment down on the evil dam construction for trying to flood Hiranazama. Apparently, the younger ones didn't think so, but it seems the elders in the village never doubted that it was Oshiro-sama's curse. The one with Tomoko-san, the horrible wench, said with a mischievous chuckle. Tomoko-san began laughing with stealing my mane. It was so infectious, I ended up laughing as well. Ha ha! Why are you looking at me like that? But I wonder about now. There are quite a few, I think, amongst the youth too. A few what? People who believe in Oshiro-sama's curse. The woman's lips were still curled into a smile, but her expression turned stern. Then after that, it continued every year, always around this time. Continued? What continued? Tomoko-san paused for a second, as if to build up some suspense. Then he whispered to me, as if someone might have been listening. Every year, on the day of Watashi, somebody dies. The year following the dismemberment on the day of the Watashi, a man from Hiranazama who had supported the dam fell off a cliff overlooking some rapids and died while he was on vacation. Unfortunately for his wife, the body was never recovered. He supported the dam construction even though he lived in Hiranazama. At the time, there were whispers amongst the elders saying it was Oshiro-sama's curse. The woman chuckled mischievously again. Ha ha ha! It was fun. And then next year, the night of the Watashi, the shrine's Shinto priest died suddenly from an unknown illness. His wife drowned herself in the bog that night. The shrine's Shinto priest? You mean he was from the shrine here? The woman nodded. There was a rumor amongst the villagers that they weren't able to quell Oshiro's anger. Then the year after that, again on the night of the Watashi, they discovered the battered body of a local housewife. Housewife? Up until now, all the mysterious deaths were people involved with the dam, or who had connections with the Oshiro-sama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way too? Exactly! The woman stated slyly. No, I missed that one. One of the victims' relatives, you see, was connected to the younger brother of the dam constructor, who fell to his death 2 years before. The younger brother is still alive, it seems, but it did bother him quite a bit, so he moved to a neighboring town. Huh. For a while I stood there with my mouth agape. Battle over the dam construction with Hirana's future at stake, and the murder at the center of it all. That was all I knew, and that was all I wanted to ask about. But that wasn't all there was to the story. Homicide, body disposal, accidental deaths, terminal illness, suicide, fatal beatings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I'm pretty good. My head's pretty flat. So level. I don't really want to believe in curses, but the freakish deaths happening every year on the day of the Watashi, and all of them were related to the dam construction. That damn construction. It was easy to dismiss each of them as a coincidence by themselves, but when you put them all together, dismissing all of them as a coincidence would then defy logic. I don't believe in curses, but every single year on the day of the Watashi, someone or something makes it happen without fail. The woman chuckled again as if picked up what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying, maybe there was, maybe we frightened him. Stuff like that. I felt embarrassed at being read so easily. I presumed Tomoko-san to continue, but a bit of impatience and irration in my tone. Irrationality. Then, so someone died the next year, right? Who was it this time? Oh, it was me! And then he just vanishes. It was a camera accident. I wonder, who do you think, Ki-chan? The heck? The way he said it didn't agree with me. The sarcastic tone ticked me off. Don't avoid the question, I'm serious here. Hey, calm down, Ki-chan. I will not calm down unless you embrace me. I realized when she tried to calm me down that I had been panicking. Oh, wait, no, it's the girl. Ew, gross. No, go away, go away. We aren't trying to avoid the question, Ki-chan. It's just when you say the next year, that's today. When she hesitated to say it, Tomoko-san finished for her. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was headed. Nobody wants to speak of it, but they all think it's going to happen again tonight. The festival was so chill for, though. Well, the victim last year, the housewife, she was a non-believer. Turns out she didn't even attend the Watangishi festival. Oh, the fool girl. There was a rumor going around that if you didn't participate in the festival, you would incur Oshama's wrath. Didn't you hear anything about this, Ki-chan-kun? I never even heard of a whisper of that rumor. And the reason everyone was at the festival was they were afraid of the curse? I figured that must have been the reason. There was a lot more people at the Watangishi than usual. I guess everyone was just afraid, after all, of Ashiro-sama's curse. ... I couldn't utter a single word. Well, we're done traumatizing this young boy. Let's go take pictures behind these bushes now. In this modern age, where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light on unknown and misunderstood, where the black and white television has been eradicated and we've sent men to the moon, even with all of our accomplishments, this can exist in our modern society. Tons of innovations were sent out to neighboring towns' youth groups to help pad the numbers. But after that string of events, few decided to join. The municipal community members were complaining about how hard it was to gather participants. Although the police are treating each case as isolated, they don't believe they're connected. They're just trying to keep it quiet so it's all plainclothes officers. It finally began to dawn on me why Rina and Myon were so reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during this Watangashi, everything would have been over with, and I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up being just crazy talk. I should have just pretended like I knew nothing from the beginning. Then they wouldn't have had to act like nothing happened. And we have all gotten back to life as usual. Maybe it was just too much for him after all. The woman ran her fingers through her hair as she sighed. No, I wasn't. I'm not scared. I'm definitely not scared while Tomoko-san's here. I tried to act strong, but that just served to emphasize how much of the information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Tomoko-san appeared to regret saying anything. No, you have nothing to feel bad about, Tomoko-san. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor. Ki-chan, surely you don't believe in such things as curses? Well, no. If that causes of all these crimes were unknown with all the perpetrators and their methods, all mysteries, then I would think it's the work of a curse. But that's not how things are in reality. The police are investigating the incidents and suspect to uncover the truth. Hearing him say police made me feel a lot better. It was perfect for repelling the word curse. The first one, the dismemberment, for example, I told you, didn't I? All but one of the perpetrators were arrested. It's only a matter of time until the last one. That motive turned out to have been an argument they had while intoxicated. That's no curse, don't you agree? That was true. If it didn't happen on the day of the Watangashi, then I wouldn't think it was related to the curse at all. The accidental death of the man who supported the dam is the same. He was in a position that made others hate him. The police made a point of investigating them for that angle. They concluded it was an accident, not foul play. But they both happened on the day of the festival, right? Ha ha ho! Just think about it, Ki-chan. Do you think people with a lot of enemies here in Hirozami could participate easily in a local festival? It would be especially hard for them to be around during the Watangashi, so they probably left Hirozami intentionally around this time of the year to travel, don't you think? It wasn't very clear explaining, but I sort of understood what Tomoko-san was getting at. Ah, you smart, clever man, muscled and smart. So I pressed on earnestly, asking more questions so that I could convince myself. Then Tomoko-san, what about the priest who died after that? The one with the unknown illness? That also happened on the day of the festival. It's even easier to explain what happened to the Shinto priest. He was an old fart. The Watangashi is a really big event that happens once a year. It was probably from all the built-up stress, or it may have been because of pre-existing conditions. but it was an unknown illness. It's hard to believe something with an unknown cause could exist with all advances in medicine. It's just an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors. Anyone would get worked up over having an incident happen 2 years in a row. The sudden death is quite unnatural, though. Of course, the police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died. But there wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation, you know? Turns out it was just a sudden death due to illness. The priest's wife committed suicide, correct? What about that? I believe I already explained that. Everyone was just shaken up by the incident happening for the 3rd year. Those who are strong faith were quick to believe it was the work of the curse. Of course, that included the priest's wife. Apparently, they found a suicide note that had said something like, "My death will quell Oshima-sama's anger." Well then, how about the next incident with the housewife? That happened on the day of the Watangashi too, right? The perpetrator has already been caught, and the case has been closed. Turns out, it was just some nutjob trying to continue the legacy of the Himazama curse. Then how about the incident next year? Oh yeah, this year is the next year. Tomoko-san gave a hearty laugh. Nothing will happen. Not this year. There was never a curse to begin with. It's just that group of people. Oh, nothing will happen this year. It's just a group of people, never cursed to begin with. It's just a group of people believing it with explanatory for a string of coincidences. My internal computer finally got itself back to... Close your mouth. You're gonna get a bug in there. I felt a bit embarrassed by how childish I'd become after losing control and panicking. I can see very clearly now that Ki-chan-kun really does love Hiyozama, even if Oshima's curse actually did exist. Ki-chan-kun couldn't bring himself to believe that such a thing existed. I felt very relieved. I should probably just forget everything I heard about tonight. I'll greet them again tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like tonight to end without incident, so they can continue on tomorrow without having to worry about me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman who had been listening and stretched as she got up from the rock she was sitting on. Well then, I should be getting back. Goodness, I think I may have gone on a bit too long. There were a few people compared to the crowd from before. I could only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool evening air. I looked at my watch. It seemed we talked for a better part of an hour. Didn't come along with your friends, Ki-chan-kun? Not going to look for them? Oh, yeah, a doy. They might have all been looking for me. You're quite the scoundrel, making the girls look for you. See you, Ki-chan. Have a nice night. You too, Jiro-san. I'll see you a bit later. Tomoko-san seemed to be quite the scoundrel himself, so his name is Jiro. Oh, Jiro. And he didn't tell me that. I am hurt. The wench has taken him. After dusting off her backside, she disappeared into the crowd of people. Yeah, get out of here. Still busy cleaning on the shrine grounds. Ki-chan-kun, so sorry. In her place, Rina came running over. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil. Devil! My bad, Ki-chan. We got so caught up in our discussion, I'd completely forgot about them while caught up in my own conversation, so we were even. My, so Tomoko-san was with you. This works out perfectly. We still need to settle the shooting gallery competition. That's right. So I guess I'm gonna end up dead last. Oh, fiddlesticks. But as a man, I accept my fate. Do your worst. In the end, after my dramatic victory, Rika-chan was the last challenger, but there weren't many targets left. The ones remaining were all tiny and difficult to hit. She did take her time and aim, but all 3 shots completely missed. She was to end up sharing the loser's crown with Tomoko-san. However, she did her little meow cry in front of the owner, and he turned to mush instantly. She was given a pack of gum as a consolation prize. Cheater, but brilliant. Avoid being... Her methods were a bit odyssey, but she did avoid being the loser rather than blah 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 blah. Words, big words. Come to think of it, Rika-chan is quite the trickster. I have no idea what Ki-chan is talking about. Shut up! I'll shank you with this hoe, and I'll spread your cotton all over these streams and rivers. Now then, it's decided that Tomoko-san is dead last. Everyone cheered and applauded. Tomoko-San smiled really slightly bewildered. So, Tomoko-San, are you ready? Penalty time. Oh, I completely forgot about that. You're too naive, Tomoko-San. This is what club is and I never lose. Myun pulled a felt-tipped marker from her pocket. Oh, it's that. Show him some mercy, Myun. At least use a washable marker. A permanent one is too harsh. It just has to be permanent. It comes off when you do the laundry anyway. Whoa, what is this? Please take it easy on me. All of us pinned his arms behind his back and made a approach him with a marker in one hand. And squip, squip, squip. But she didn't write on Tomoko's face. She wrote on the shirt he was wearing. You better have a bigger break this year, Myun. Rina took up the marker next. Show me your photo next time, okay? Rina. Oh, they're all signing his shirt. It was a little heartwarming, and I just had to laugh. Oh, this is more like farewell card than a penalty. I'm not as soft as the rest. I'll make sure this is a proper... Oh, I'm not as soft as the rest. I'll make this a proper penalty. Haha, dead last, Sotoka. Try harder next time, Rika. This was my mother's shirt. Here you go, Kichi-kun. I couldn't decide what to write, but based on what kind of penalty this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again, Kichan. Tomoko-san was silent the entire time. At first he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face. This was my mother's tank top. Her muscles glistened in it and you have ruined it. So I have to wear this all the way back to Tokyo as part of the penalty? Of course, you'd better wear it all the way home. You could wear it when you come back. It would be nice. He appeared deeply moved. Embarrassed mixed with a wealth of other emotions made him turn a bright red. Oh, understood. I'll wear this the next time I come here. I promise. Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest parting gift possible for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was constantly standing near the festival grounds. It seems Tomoko-san noticed her too and knew it was time to leave. Seems like your guest is waiting. Isn't it about time? Yeah, that's certainly how it seems. Oh, got a blast. Tomoko-san headed off toward her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. He didn't even say goodbye. We all shouted stuff at Tomoko-san. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually, he faded into the darkness of the night, out of sight, but not out of my dreams. It was quite the casual farewell. This wasn't the first time any of us had seen someone off. They had done the same thing many times before. He's gone. Well, it's about time we take off too. Yuka-chan had to stay behind with the others committee members since they were having a meeting. Sakura was tagging along with her. I headed back home with the usual suspects. The walk back was quite lively, with talk of the day's war stories. Should have done this, should have done that kind of stuff. Rina and I parted ways with Myun, and then it was just the two of us. Then we got to my house, and I parted ways with Rina as well. It's already pretty late. Are you all right by yourself? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. It's close. I'm going to run too. If you run into some weirdo, just yell. If someone does come, will you come and save me? Maybe? Oh, of course, my lady. These what these guns are for. If I hear you. Oh, okay. I'll scream loud enough so you can hear me. Merely spinning her arms around at high speed, Rina dashed off. She was fine in that mode. In that mode, not even an adult could stand against her. Rina's cheerful presence disappeared, and it finally became quiet again. The curse that not a single person even whispered about. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettled I became. It didn't even show on any of their faces, but they were probably all quite concerned about it as well. But if nothing happened tonight, then it all ends up being just crazy talk. Nothing will happen, nothing bad, nothing at all. Psh, nothing. Everything's fine. Everything's grand. Everything's dandy. Dandy Danderson. That's what I call say. Well, what's wrong, Kichan? Why are you standing in the place like that? Come inside. You'll catch a cold. It was my mother. Did you go, Mom? To the Watangashi festival? In the end, your father didn't wake up. Oh, hello, one of sleep. Hello. How's your day going? In the end, your father didn't wake up, so I missed it. A little disappointing. Mom stuck her tongue out with a bit of an embarrassed look on her face. Blech. Does this conclude another chapter? I'm doing pretty good. Except, more laundry incidents today. The dryers were taken and, like, someone left their stuff in there. Like, all the ones that were taken, like, everyone left their stuff in there for over an hour. So eventually, my friends were like, yeah, just take it out and put it to the side. New tips. Oh, dang, that's a lot. Oh, we're gonna go through all the police reports? Cool. Alright, let's crack this mystery. We've got a mystery on our hand, gang. From the June 1980 edition, on the afternoon of XX at 2 p.m., officers, employee XXX and his wife XXXX, interesting name, must be one in the family, of Hirazama village in Shinbone Prefecture, disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observation platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. I remember that scene. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of XXX at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, XXXX, has yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of the Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appears a railing at the observation that the XX leaned on had broken, causing him to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to facility deterioration and if park maintenance was performed properly. So I said 2 people fell off, but Tomoko-San said 1 person fell off, right? But it said 2 bodies weren't found? From the June 1981 edition, on the afternoon of XX around 10 p.m. in the X district of Hirazama village in Shirobone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Furudu Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerned the festival, which was also to be held that day. Also, after XXX's death, his wife XXXX went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth associations continued to search, however, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that the Onigafuchi marsh is said to be bottomless, they have run into difficulties. Housewife murder. Probably the husband. It's always the husband. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. Oh, okay. Radio log. What's this one? This is Okinawa Station calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please. Oh no, this isn't. I thought this was like radio station, not police. This is Unit 3, loud and clear. Backup is heading your way. Hold position until further instructions. Over. Roger. Unit 3, acknowledge. Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence. What was that? Silence, you dummy. Over. Understood. Station, the doctors have arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledge. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let that take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. Man, they gotta get better radios. Should I be able to go back? I want to see view all tips. We're gonna make a new save. And let's continue. Over. Good morning. Okay. Nice job yesterday, Ki-chan. You didn't do so badly yourself, Myon. Yesterday was fun. Oh, that's right, Ki-chan. Thank you very much. For Mr. Bear. I'm glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though. I wouldn't. That's a weird thing to say. Hey, I got you this bear. Don't use it as a pincushion. Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately my foot stepped right into it. My now, how diligent of you to mop the floor this morning. Clump, clump, whiff, whiff. Ki-chan flicked my forehead. Kill him now. You should set a more brutal trap next time. Kill him. Seeing that Rina began to swoon as Myon looked as dejected. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I'd had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished. What is it, Ki-chan-kun? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment during class. You shouldn't do that. Myon alerted us that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday was the festival. Thank you all to the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling that only the thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus. Okay then, this time of year you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed the different tone in her voice and started paying attention. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Wrong way? Wrong way, do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, yes, ma'am. She said she was really vague, but I understood she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the villagers' bad image. She was saying, don't spout stupid crap. Think it's funny. And now I was one of the ones who needed to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing. If I do so, say so myself. I'm one of them, one of the community. I'm helping by helping them hide their murders. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everyone was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one? Ah, a game from overseas. Looks interesting. It's this new hit game called Among Us. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose, you hear? You hear? I'm not too bad at this game. It seems Arena didn't handle this kind of game very well. The rules are the person who can match the murder, weapon, and the scene of the crime wins. There were 3 kinds of... Oh, they're playing Clue, comprised of suspected weapons and locations. I could see that the name Myon and Rika were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well! There are plenty of different weapons too, like knives, axes, and poison. The locations are pretty nice too, like the living room, the study, and the courtyard. I need hydration. I've been talking for 44 minutes straight. I definitely think my voice is getting stronger because of this. That's some good hydrogen and oxygen molecules mixed together. So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards. So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We asked each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. I see, so the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators. Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends and we check if the answer is correct. If you are right, then you get a point. If you are wrong, then you lose a point. Here's the game ends even if no one gets it right. Right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed. You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain. Use that noodle of yours. You'll get confused if you don't take notes. The rest you can figure out by playing. So, Myun, what's the penalty this time? Everyone directed their attention to Myun. Death! Let's see. We're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a goofier penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone. So just being asked to buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess? I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple. I wonder if is it really? Is Kichan thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah. You don't know what you'll have to go buy. I'm betting Myun would send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy stuff. Damn it. I gotta get this music. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out today. That's why I keep trying to do it to the beat of the music. Passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken out. So that means all cards I have in my hand are innocent cards. Then I'll go first. Since I'm the club president, I guess, well then, Myun Knife Study. You pick one suspect weapon and a murder scene and ask each person. If you have any of those cards, then you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have. Yeah, I got it. Me too. I have one. Oh my, all of them are here. 3 people answered when she asked if they had Myun, Knife, and Study. So that means that Myun and Knife and Study are all in the clear. Got to jot that down. Then I'll go, Rena. Axe. Lounge. She has an axe. Only 2 people said they had one. So it means out of Rena, Axe, and Lounge, one of them is correct and is part of the crime. No, wait, even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Satsuko or Rika-chan has 2 of the cards. Ki-chan is next, go ahead. Wait, just a little. I'm still sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like I'm going to be tough. Whew, I can do it. Game face on, let's do this. I can do it. Alright, now I have the criminal. What? Already? Here I am spinning around in circles and Myun just now raised her hand. The murderer is Rika-chan in the infirmary with the poison. Well? Myun drew the cards from the box and we checked to see if her deduction was right. You were right. I did kill someone. All I needed was one more hand. I couldn't tell whether it was poison or pistol. I'd never use a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. Rika-chan said such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Oh, adorable. Ah, poison. Why are my eyes blinking so much? It's weird. Everyone was making a commotion about how they had almost had it. Rina and I were left out in the cold, though. How did you do, Ki-chan-kun? I couldn't get it at all. Don't worry, I had no idea either. How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in the last place together at this rate? That's even worse. Going off buying something together as a couple. What if we ended up having to buy the family planning guide? Ooh. What if we kissed under the happy planning book? Behind the happy planning book. Gosh dang. I can tell from Kyunshin's expression that he's not very good at this game. I'm not good at Clue either. I think I've only ever played it really played it twice. But that's not true. I'll show you the true power of the Sherlock Marabar during the next round. Yes. Elementary, my dear Satoku. My, that sounds just wonderful. I shall give you quite the thrashing. Well, it hasn't even been an hour yet. Holy cow, I'm reading this fast. Well, the thing is, like, there's like this game's like sliced up into like 3 other like games I have to like download. I haven't even finished the first one yet. Holy cow. After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or 2 behind. I saw that Myun was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asked their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched over to the thought process needed to win. Random BS, go! The important thing isn't to find out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka. I was like, what kind of Japanese word is this? No, it's Eureka. Ah, sorry, I needed to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice... Ew. Mission, that's gross. Yeah, I agree with me on that. Ew, I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Rina had made her way over towards me. Kichunkin, did you call for me? Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rina. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Rina, what's your record at this game we're playing today? She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth. Well, all losses. Why do you ask? I wonder. I couldn't tell from how apprehensively she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull off a last-minute comeback on this one. So I guess both of us will be taking the penalty? Hey, don't accept defeat yet. Already, how about we win this, both of us? Together, we can win this. How can we? I brought my lips up to Rina's ear. Whisper. Goodness, is that allowed? Did you forget, Rina? The second rule of our society? Do everything in our power to obtain victory. Yes, I'll try my best. Our plan of attack was quite rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much information would mean we'd need to investigate less. With this sort of plan of attack, we started off with a big lead over the other guys. Oh, that's using your noodle, Ki-chan. Use that noodle. Yeah, with this, we can probably win. We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, then Rina was a corrupt senator. Heh, pleasure doing business with you. Then let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo to surprise everyone. Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It would be like a flat out telling them we made a little arrangement. Oh, sorry. Then what should we do? Go back ahead of me, Rina. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something. Okay, got it. And just like a demon, she vanished. Rina turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. If Myun or one of them suspected something, then there could be a problem. Well, they'd figure it out sooner or later, because both Rina and I would start winning over and over again. Both Rina and I will have earned enough points to avoid being the losers, but by the time Myun realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all, if I do say so myself. Mabura-kun, may I have a moment? Huh? Is that teacher? Oh, I thought it was someone else. Man, things were just getting good. What is it? I'm a bit, you have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance. A guest? It's not like I own a hotel. They've been waiting. Please hurry. Alright. It was rather unfortunate that I'd have someone waiting on me right before my big match, but I was more interested in unexpected guests. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Hey, there's the boy. Waiting here, looking uncomfortably warm, is a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened, and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. Are you Maribor-san? Gichan Maribor-san? There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Hiroshima, and that this was without a doubt the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomoko-san, I'd been running into so many middle-aged men. Weird. That's right, who might you be? I have an AC on in my car. Let's talk there. Get in my car, young man. I have ice cream and candy. It's free if you get in my car. Bit hot here, don't you think? The man completely ignored my question, pointed over to his car, parked near the gate, and began walking. You've got to be kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know, and he was asking me to get into his car with him? I'm not going to buy it. Come on. I'm not going to buy it. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was about. Even while knowing that conversation that started out like this have never led to anything good. But I got in anyways. And then the doors locked, and then the gas was released. Then I woke up in some other country, with my kidneys missing and one of my toes. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioning were supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least. Please let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a habit of cranking it all the way up. So what business do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore this remark in the same way he did to me and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me. Who the heck is this? I doubt even that his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from his expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV. There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker, starting with yours, Mariko-san, and quite a few other of your classmates signed as well. This is Tomoko-san? There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expression, half-asleep face. Then do you know this woman? Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was. I don't even remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Tomoko-san last night. I didn't know what her name was, but I did know she was a resident of Hiroshima. When was the last time you saw these two? The night of the Watakushin we spoke. They seemed pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything is fine. Go ahead and say it. Being asked for every little detail is a very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now. Did something happen? Did something happen to Tomoko-san? Who did it? Is he alright? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus I replied to the silence in kind. I was pretty sure, certain that this guy was a cop. Then why? Why was he asking about Tomoko-san? Did something happen to him? My dreamboat, my oiled muscular man, my trident, my giant warrior, my photographer of love. More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air condition felt unbearable now. After a long pause, he finally spoke again. You've moved here just recently, isn't that right, Maribor-san? Are you aware, I wonder, about the stories of Oyashira-sama? My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face. Not at all? No, not my dreamboat. Not at all? If you don't, then that's fine. Well, I have heard of it. Tomoko-san told me, actually. How much do you know about about it? The dismemberment, killing, the accidental deaths, the death by illness, followed by suicide, and then lady who was beaten to death. The incident that always happened the day of the Watakushi, ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomoko-san would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No, rather, I didn't want to think there was anything more than that. Do you know of that? Well, curse, Maribor-san? Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. My answer was instant. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it, as just the only verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own doubts that the more prominent feeling. Really? Then that's great! Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point? The man in the picture is dead. Ah, no. No, Telly. No. Not him. Anyone him. Take the woman. Kill her twice, but not my Tomoko-San. My mind went blank. Fury raised in me. What happened to Tomoko-San? No. It would seem that he died last night. Turns out he was allergic to permanent marker pens. Who would have guessed? That was the night of the Watangashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Marabara-san? Implications? Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real... Oh, we hit an hour. Yay. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Watangashi. Meaning this year, the curse of Oishio-sama had once again. The death of Jiro Tomoki-san is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I don't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hiroshima. It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I want to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least that's how I figured I would feel if I listened to the rest. One of the patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from security detail at the festival. It was late. Oh, so this is the radio call. Oh, so I got a little hint beforehand. Okay, that's cool. Till midnight. The location was, you know where that road into town becomes paved, right? Yeah, that one. Down past the slope next to the 7-Eleven. Keep going straight to the Sonic, and it's right there on the shoulder around there. There were few streetlights on that road. Its pitch black darkness was only broken by the lights passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Tomoko-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomoko-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. We thought it was a hit and run at first, but when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. Not his muscular neck. It could hold a building. This isn't right. He was too much of a man. This doesn't make sense. That throat could withstand a shot. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? As a fingernail? With those he clawed through? From the coroner report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails. What? What does that mean? You know, those little things you got on your finger? The things your fingers are constantly 3D printing 24/7? Those nails? Those. Don't they use small town kids anything in these small towns? It wasn't murder. It was suicide. Tomoko-san thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat as hard as he could with his own nails. Tore through the skin until he started to bleed. And then Tomoko-san didn't stop. He continued clawing, with enough intensity that it could have peeled off his nails, still clawing. Then as his nails reached those vital arteries that should never damage, he continued clawing. Split blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasming, and he died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. But it was suicide? I've never heard of such a thing. This unnatural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was it? The way he died. In these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomoko-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong. There were a few more suspicious details. From his body, perspiration, epilation, and so on. we concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. That was given. It's hard to believe someone could be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their throat. Wounds to his hands matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There are traces of where he struck a truck trees and the guardrails with it. Tomoko-san's blood was found all over the place, meaning that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomoko-san. There is a high probability Tomoko-san was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects. To summarize, Tomoko-san was surrounded and attacked while wandering the night roads in a state of panic. After being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then he died. The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Tomoko-san at the festival. Everyone signed Tomoko-san's shirt, then parted ways. Right after that. Oh yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her? She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work, and she hasn't returned home either. There's a very high probability that she was involved in this incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to someone close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomoko-san was short, but we went on the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oshiro-sama's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative. That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomoko-san, the outsider, telling me. That's why you came to me, because I'm not originally from Hiroshima. I should have been angry that was the reason he wanted to hear what had happened from me. If things go the way they have been, then the conclusion would be that Jiro Tamitake died from Oshiro-sama's curse. He turned away from me and gazed off, far into the distance. The night of Watashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos angering Oshiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out. There's no way Oshiro-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomoko-san. Tomoko-san had been killed by humans, and a cowardly group no less. There's probably at least 100 of them, alright? Tomoko-san had brawn, he had muscle, he had skill. He was probably like flashing them with his camera, blinding them, putting it up all the way to full brightness, burning their retinas, ripping his shirt off, showing his oiled abs glistening in the moonlight, also blinding them. He was unstoppable. Only a true person could bring him down. Only an army. There was no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of some curse. I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut with a man's hearty laugh. Ha! That's how this must be, Mirabura-san. Cooperation from individual Hinozamas don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomoko-san nor I believed in curses, but with the way things were going, it would just end up with Tomoko-san's death marking the 5th year. Which would mean that Hirozama had rejected Tomoko-san. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomoko-san was one of us. He didn't live in Hirozama, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way that Tomoko-san could have been cursed by Oshiro-sama. But there is nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No, if you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that is enough. If I see or hear, he was talking in the future tense. Things or people or rumors, anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. If I'm not there, then just leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'll be mired knee-deep in this matter. Please help me solve these questions surrounding Tomoko-san's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched the piece of paper as a satisfying grin spread across his face. We are now blood brothers. Everything we spoke of today is secret. Please keep this confidential. Understood. From your friends as well, especially from the Sonozaki-san and Furuduno-san, please do not inform them. Sonozaki? You mean Myon? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with this incident? With my friends' names brought up so abruptly and being told to keep it a secret from them, I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privileges, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Myon is a close friend of mine. I snapped at him, but he didn't seem especially to be offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you. Say it! He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit. There is a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hirazama are a result of village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that? No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. Then how did you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Watangashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Hirazama felt that the day of the Hirazama was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hirazama. First, it was the dam construction foreman. Then it was the villagers that supported it. Those the villagers had hold a grudge against die one after the other for mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end, the result is the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it could just be shrugged off. So the victims after that, what about Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village. The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time, the dam dispute, but there wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result. Ill will? This is cool music. It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about the housewife after that? Did she die just because she, the wife of the brother of the supporter? That's such a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomoko-San? He's not affiliated with the dam project at all. Was he just killed just because he was taking pictures? In the beginning, I fell on all those related to the dam project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims had become much lower. Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider is reasonable enough. Then next year's victim, they're just going to pick out one of the villagers' outsiders' pool? It might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by... I swallowed my words. You and Hirazama, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then the next victims. My family, was he saying it was going to be me? What does that have to do with Myon? I can't go into detail, but the Shinoguchi family led the dam protests quite fervently. So this is also true of Myon Sonosuke-san herself. She has quite a few misdemeanors and obstructions of public work offenses on her record because of the protests. I never knew what it meant to fight. This was the first I'd heard of her family leading the protest, though. Then, well, what did it all mean? Are you saying that Myon's family is involved with this string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was conspiracy, then they'd have the highest probability of being behind it. Not very clear explanation. It felt like he'd avoided the detail I really want to know. We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That is exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seems that he understood it well enough. Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's the curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? What's the reason behind wanting me to know, to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend? The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me, so I wouldn't worry about it. It is now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry. Didn't have to worry. I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incidents this time properly means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as it was. It couldn't be helped. I understand I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Uishi from the Okunema police station? Uishi, call me Kura-chan if you want. No, Uishi-san is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. No, I've never seen one of this bulky before in the cop shows I watch. I've taken up way too much time. Your friends are waiting for you, aren't they? I should have probably let you get back to them. I don't know how I'll get back to it without Tomoko-san. My life is ruined without him. My support, my barrier to the thing that my very reason for existing in this universe is gone. The door opened with a click and streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside of the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was almost cruel heat as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the Land Heroism itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-assured. It's fine, you don't see or hear anything, Marabura-san. There's enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I hear anything or see anything, but I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me. Huh, I won't. You're just a kid. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you have been until now. But if you see murder or blood, let me know. Give me a call. Or send me one of those tweeters, as the kids in the interwebs say. Just let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, Marabura-kun. I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time has passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomoko-san's death was hard enough as it was, but to think that there was a possibility of a villager conspiracy. Worse still, there was also a chance that Myun was involved? Nonsense. Impossible. Not Myun, Rina, Sakura, and Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Tomoko-san, right? Who could the perpetrators be? Who could have done this to him? Could it be they were hiding here, somewhere in Hirozama? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Myun couldn't be the perpetrator. It's Mia-chan, the perpetrator! Huh? I was startled to hear Rina's voice. With the rope in the, lounge. Bwahaha! Nope! No! Rina-chan clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just self-destructive over here, wow. Ah! Kishan, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger. Sorry about that. I was called into the staff room, you see. You were reprimanded for bad behavior? That's a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's just getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided that I'm gonna finish in last place? Don't worry, Kichan. Hold on. Oh, someone knocked. Okay, I'm back. Don't worry, Kichan. I'm at -1 point. The heck? Your score is lower than mine and I wasn't even playing. How do you get -1? This is... Oh, right, because you keep losing points. This is the fun... Okay, I'm back. Again. This is the final match to decide if the penalty is going to be carried out by Rina alone or by both Kichan and Rina. Yeah, right. Just let Rina do the penalty by herself. We made a promise, Kichan, that we would both win. I waited all this time, you know? Urgh, I'm sorry about that. But these darn principals and cops and me being accused of murder, you know how it goes. I followed my initial plan of showing Rina my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call. I got it! The murderer is me, with the poison at the entrance. Is it? My, Rina, quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark, oh. Rina's correct. Ho ho ho, then it's decided that Kichan-san shall take part in the penalty as well. Hooray! Suffer with me, Kichan! Let's both do our best. Yeah, let's do our best. It's my fault, so I have no choice. Let's go buy that pregnancy book! Then that's the game. It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first. In dead last are Kichan, Muraba, and Rina Ryugi. Everyone applauded and the game ended. The problem now was the penalty. Now then, I ranked first, so I'll decide what you'll be buying for the goofier penalty. Is it goofer or gopher penalty? Gopher. Goofier? Gopher. I have no idea. Holy cow. What will make us buy? What will you make us buy? I wonder. Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it? Huh? I didn't have any business at the drugstore. This old man already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. Whoa, there's a lot written here. A lot. Darn it. What is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple, vinegar, and fried tofu. The heck is this? It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. Mie was certain she was going to win today. Rule 7 of our society, you cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thank you. This is just your grocery list. I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. I think you kind of like over because she just made this easy. It's just going grocery shopping. You have received new tips. There are more than 4 perpetrators. Search. Not a clue. There are more than 4. But are there? Hypovolonic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue is packed under the nails. Not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also match. Wait. Yeah. I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and you rip out your spinal cord. Happened to my cousin. Some of Tomoko's fingernails had been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nail, but it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, this is making me... There are also bruises on Tomoko's body. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people. According to the toxinology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Urishi-kun, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon. They only found sand and the paint from the guardrail on it. What about cloth fiber or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants, or it could be that they took the plank he was fighting back with. In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. Har har har! That's true. He wasn't pretty built and tanned. Oh, he was the most built. He was quite athletic. That's right. He was pretty active. Rest in peace, my beautiful man. Come on. You were taken from this world too late. I send you off. Join the other photographers and photographer of Valhalla. Rest my angel. Let me just get back down here. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side, meaning he could be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such physical sense he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly, it's just unthinkable that it would be even Nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. This guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once. No, see, you know, he hit them so hard with his rippling muscles that they evaporated, alright? Got sent to the Shadow Realm with how much force and oiled abs he hit them with. To surround and take down someone of his physique, I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit! You should know better than anyone. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was taking down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down a big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. Then there were quite a few perpetrators, so any drunk and disordered group of more than 4 are suspicious. A group of 4 or more. Just if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious place? Also, they're kind of leaving out, they say 4 people, they don't classify like what kind of people, like for say one of them being a high school friend, for men, for women, for sickly people, for I don't know, 4 other things, I don't know. So they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body? Okay. Or did he somehow break away from the fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Orishi-san, the chief is calling you. Thanks, see you around. Yeah, best wishes. Oh, that was just 1. Were there like 3? No, that's just 2. Search notice. Jiro Tomoko, deceased, resided in a cheap hotel in Shishibon City. Registered under the name Jiro Tomoko. Pen name. Oh. Travels via folding bike, no license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned on the side of the forest path. Present on the day of the festival, accompanied by the missing Mio Takano. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police, location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hiroshima for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Checks with magazine company. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo in Shibuya, along the Cebu National Railway line. No individual matching the name Jiro Takano is in the residence records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare teeth to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contacting... So wait, they have no records of him? Interesting. Contacting magazine regarding Jiro Tomoko. Miyotaka-san, missing. Nurse at our clinic. Became close to Tomoko-San through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinawa X District XXX. Single. I bet she did it. She took my man from me. Accompanied Tomoko-San on the festival grounds, currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need to go thoroughly investigate the relationship. Yeah, still like a buried picture or something. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi. Yeah, I gotta love Oishi. So I wonder, like, if I go back, will the X's fill themselves out? Okay, I'm gonna see how far I can get. I'll keep going, but I might have to stop halfway through another section. But I need more water. Sleepy. That's better. Sleepy. Whoa, that was a really big yawn, Kun. I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but doesn't look like I can do it today. Dang, why did I suddenly become sleepy now, too? I was watching TV until late last night. I'm so tired right now. Was it one of those raunchy TV shows, you know, you love so much on last night? How extremely vile. Oh, that's a new sound. Don't jump to conclusions. It's perfectly normal for boys. Nothing to be ashamed about. Because not patting my head only made me feel worse. I wasn't. I was watching anime. There's nothing wrong. I was watching Shield Hero. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously. My, you think I would just sit here and allow that? Ooh. And now anyone who watches this is probably gonna yawn too. I'll get you really angry if you disturb me. I'll get really angry. Really angry. Yeah, I even got the game to yawn. That's some skill right there. Yeah. This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. This game's gonna put me to sleep now. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted into... It seemed that Satoko was responsible. Who was calling me? Oh, hold on a second. So actually, I just got a call. I need to actually go. So I'm actually gonna end this one here. It kind of works out. It's a little 30 minutes early. Sorry about that, but like, save and load. So I'll save. We're on chapter 7. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, One of Sleep, for stopping by and asking how I was doing. Hope you guys keep doing good the rest of the day. See you at the next stream. Man, I love this game.